Hi, and welcome to the lesson for lesson 47 for English 3. Today we're going to have Miss Clark in class to talk to us about important junior and senior information. And we're going to talk a little bit about how to take your outline and turn it into your rough draft. We're going to look at a poem by K. Tempest, and we're going to look at an article on dehumanizing language. So that's what we'll be doing today. Thanks again for logging in. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you if you log in and work with you IRL too, sometime before the end of this year. All right, so upcoming assignments. We do have a new assignment in the progress part of the gradebook in the green on the right side. It is the humanizing language assignment that's going to be due next Friday. To complete that assignment, you're only going to need to answer 5 questions from the about 20 questions that we've asked this week for the different videos that we've been watching in class on humanizing language this week. Just to kind of get us thinking about humanizing language as we head into the end of this essay for right and wrong. Your voice and choice number 4 is due today. It is due on the 12th of Friday, if today is the 12th. And that is kind of what's coming down for assignments. All right, learning targets for this lesson. For writing, we're going to look at those remaining essay 3 pieces and that final project, and Miss Clark is going to be in the room also to talk to us about some important things in the live class. Hopefully you can be there for that. For literature, we're going to consider a poem on recognizing the face of the poet in strangers. And for informational, we're going to consider an article on dehumanizing language. Our week structure is normal. It's a Monday, Tuesday recorded lesson and a Thursday, Friday recorded lesson with some workspace and office hours from 12 to 2:30 on Wednesdays and an ELA recovery period in the morning from 10 to 10:45. Voice and choice number 4 is due this Friday. That voice prompt was, what's one thing you wish people understood about you to talk off of? And then, of course, you had the 10 paths to choose from for your choice prompt. All right, let's move on to our writing learning target. Today, Ms. Clark is going to be in class to talk to us for a little bit about important information. And then after that, we're going to talk just a little bit about essay number 3. Again, graded essay number 3 peer review is due on Friday the 19th. That is just a Google form. It's a very quick assignment. You can use me for feedback or a friend or family or other teacher if you can't find another student to read your essay. That's totally fine. Essay number 3 final draft is due on the 26th. It's a Friday. You will likely score higher on your final draft if you use my feedback on your rough draft, especially when it comes to the final piece, that language piece in grammar. All right, so when you're doing your rough draft, just a really quick single slide explanation of how to take the outline into the rough draft. So you're going to be taking each section of the outline and transferring it to specific parts of the rough draft. Paragraph 1 is going to be where you're going to put your claim, counterclaim, support, and support number 2 from the first box of your outline. In the second paragraph, you're going to be focusing on your counterclaim, the example you wrote for that, and the explanation. For the third paragraph, you're going to be placing your first support, the example you gave for that, and the explanation. And then for your fourth paragraph, it's the second support, an example and explanation, and then for the fifth paragraph, it's your conclusion. At least one of your examples needs to be a quote from an article. It can be any of the 3 articles we read in class. It could be any of the 12 articles in the assignment in class, or it can be an article that you find that supports one of your supports or your counterclaim. You just need to have one quote in this essay to get credit for that, but you do need to have a quote and integrate that quote into your essay. Just real quick reminder, we are going to start work on the self-defense final project as well. Doing your voice and choice recordings is an important part of that. So if you haven't been doing recordings, it'd be a good idea to start doing those recordings so that you have some recordings to choose from as you're completing this project. Also, if you really like your This I Believe essay or your essay number 2, you can go ahead and record those and have those ready to go when we do this project. Voice and choice number 4 is due this week on the 12th, and the humanizing language assignment is due on the 19th next week. Also due the 19th is your Google form peer review, and the week after that, your final draft will be due. So a couple things coming down the pike, a couple things to keep an eye on. The voice and choice number 4 especially, knock that out before this weekend, please, if you'd like credit to NIC on that assignment. And IC, of course, is Infinite Campus. Sorry. Okay, so for our literature learning target, we're going to look at a poem on recognizing the face of the poet in strangers, and we're going to discuss this poem through a lens of humanizing language. The poem we're looking at is called People's Faces, and it's by the poet K. Tempest. So this poem is partially in response to the UK leaving the EU. There's a bunch more acronyms. Britain leaving the EU. While we listen to and read this poem, consider the following questions for discussion afterwards. So some of these you may be answering these questions in your humanizing language assignment. You will have about 20 questions to choose from. You only need to answer 5 of those questions for full credit. How does K. Tempest celebrate their country? What about this poem is hopeful? How does this poem recognize the challenges facing the UK? And what about the imagery and language of this poem speaks to common human experience? So you're going to be answering 5 questions total in this assignment. It could be all 4 of these questions plus 1 more from another reading, or it could be none of these questions and questions from the other articles. All right, for our informational lesson, we're going to look at an article on dehumanizing language. We're actually going to listen to a radio conversation. So the title is Dehumanizing Language, or what is the negative impact of dehumanizing language is the title of this article. And while we listen to this audio article, consider the following questions for discussion. What does polarization mean in this context? What does it mean to stop recognizing each other as fellow citizens or even as people? How does dehumanization lead to violence? And how do you think humanizing language can counter this? Can humanizing language counter dehumanizing language? And that last question really is like in my head a bunch right now too, as we kind of move into the final part of this class and work on our humanization projects. Like, is that even a thing? I'm interested to find out. All right, this is a very short lesson today. We're going to come in under 10 minutes. The big focus of this Thursday and Friday will, of course, be Mrs. Clark's information for the class and workspace for the outline, rough draft, and peer review. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a good afternoon. Bye.